While nothing is going on today for Transformer Tuesday, some wild stuff happened yesterday that I want to address because a lot of people have been asking me to talk about this. A email went out, at least to some individuals, specifically Hasbro Premium members of the Hasbro Plus program, that they were going to be opening the vault. And the email read that we're celebrating Hasbro's 100th by making a charitable donation to the Hasbro Children's Hospital and by cracking open the Haslab Vault. For a limited time, Hasbro will be offering a chance to purchase previous Haslab products by opening its reserve vault exclusively for Hasbro Pulse Premium members. While supplies last, get a chance to snag these exclusives for a very limited amount of time, blah, blah, blah. You know, this will start December 18th at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and will end December 19th. So lunchtime came yesterday, and a whole bunch of items were put up. The Hero Quest Haslab, the two different versions of it, the Mythic and Heroic. They had the Haslab Ghostbusters Proton Pack. They had the G.I. Joe Sky Striker. And they had, of course, the Unicron Haslab and the Victory Saber. All at the base cost that these items cost if you did back them during their original Haslab runs. And no surprise, within 2 minutes, everything sold out. And there was a lot of angry feelings, people saying they never even got the email, they never even had a chance, or they added it to the cart and it was already sold out. Here's the thing, and not to mention just the amount of speculation that that all of these were reissues and Hasbro was backing up on their claim that this was a once and only opportunity. Look, guys. I almost didn't even want to have to talk about this, but I guess people just don't get it. This is a classic example of Hasbro having extra stock for unique units of stuff that will have issues. Let me dial it back. When I used to work with Bakon and we used to work on the exclusives, there was literally a set number that these were made at. For simple math, they would do a box set, and that box set would be 1,000 units. But they wouldn't make 1,000 units. They would make like 1,100 units. Why? Because, well, you never know. You might end up getting a lockdown with two left hands. You might be getting a Onyx Primal with a missing head. You don't know. You don't know. And it's just something where they always wanted to have extra units available because there is going to be someone that's going to get a box set and something's going to be missing, and having those extra box sets on the side, they could be piece and part away from them to then make people happy. Lord knows that, when the Victory Saber came out, there was a lot of QC issues for certain people, and they obviously had to contact them and be able to piece and part and fix things. Stuff was getting lost. That's what that extra units are for. These weren't like Hasbro Pulse secretly holding back units and then putting it out there for a re-release. If anything, when you really think about it, I mean, if Hasbro was going to reissue the Unicron, I don't think they would have asked that original MSRP. Well, I don't want to say MSRP, but base cost that they were asking here. I don't think they would have asked their $574.99 that they asked back in 2019. You know that. We're in a post-inflation world. 3 years pretty much separated from when this thing really was dropped in our laps to give money to them. You know they would have asked $700 if this was a true reissue. And it goes the same with all the others, with the Sky Striker and everything. This was just a classic case that they had a couple of extra Unicrons just in case if someone got a Unicron in the mail and the head was missing, or a horn was missing, or one of the claws in the front of his maw is missing, whatever, or one of the rings. They always have those extra units waiting. And it's the same thing with the Victory Saber and many others. They had extra units. Those extra units were sitting around. They call it here the vault, but it literally is just their storage facility in Providence. And guess what? Providence is getting closed down because of what's going on with all the layoffs and stuff. And that vault that they call it, again, that storage facility in Providence, they need to get rid of those units. It's the end. Q4 is coming. They got to get rid of that stuff that's in storage. And hey, no better way to do that. And hey, Bob over there, did you notice that a couple of those Unicrons that we kept behind to use for covering our butt in case some stuff ends up broken when it's shipped? They're actually fairly complete and pretty good. All right, put a couple of them up there. And we have no idea how many were up there. People are complaining how the Unicron sold out in 2 minutes, but let's be real. For all we know, there was probably 9 of them. You know, for the Hero Quest one, there was probably 3 of them. We don't know. But it definitely wasn't 100 units or 200 units. It definitely was probably in those double digits at best. At best. So that's really what happened. And I get that there's people that are angry about it. I'll be honest with you. The Unicron one, I could understand the anger because there was a lot of compounded things that happened with that release. TFCon Toronto had just concluded in 2019. A lot of the hardcore fans that flew out to the con, these are the fans that are the most hardcore Transformer fans. They fly out, they get the hotel rooms, they buy stuff that weekend, they buy the third-party exclusives, they pay for their flights, they pay for food. Big credit card debt just waiting for them. And then literally the Monday after, when TFCon was over, here's Haslab Unicron. And a lot of people couldn't afford it. And on top of that, they couldn't afford it. But even Hasbro got kind of, cold feet because they had to extend the deadline. There was a lot of worries that no one was going to be able to afford this. And thus, by extending the deadline, it gave them an extra month to kind of get a paycheck. It was a lot of bad feels. And the individuals that did buy 2 of them or 3 of them ended up flipping them. And then the secondary market went on fire. And then, it ends up becoming a $2,000 item from its original $574.99. It gave people a lot of bad feelings. Then you enter Victory Saber, and people have that muscle memory of, oh, that Unicron got flipped like crazy, so every single person's going to buy 2 of them. And at that point, it's, Victory Saber is $179. It's not, near $600 like the Unicron was. And it's not like these things are like, scalped and sold out. They were made to units. You have an opportunity to buy these, get in there and get as many as you want. And when it's done, it's done. And if you miss out, well, you had an opportunity. And it wasn't, again, $600 like Unicron. It was $180. Now, granted, I've said in the past, I still think that's fairly overpriced for what the product really is at the end of the day. And it could have been a retail product. And I still stand by that. But you had your opportunities. The Unicron one, I'll give you the anger. You could have that. There was a lot of funky stuff there. It was a big, expensive item. But the Haslab Victory Saber, and same thing with Deathsaurus, the opportunities are there. You either took that opportunity or you didn't. You had, in most cases, 45 days to hum over it. But that's what happened here. That's what happened. It was leftover inventory used for replacements and damage, much like BotCon has done with their limited exclusives back in the day, much like a lot of other companies have done. And that's really it. So it's insane, the stuff that I've been reading online that people, and look, I'm going to call out Hasbro when they do stupid stuff, but this is not really one of those cases. This is just them emptying out their warehouse. Do they really need to have these washing machine-sized boxes of Unicron sitting around now that they're closing up that Providence building? I don't think so. I really don't. If they can make a little extra money, and Lord knows they are already trying to make a little extra money for all the all the investors, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. But it is what it is. And that's really what happened yesterday. It's just silliness. And I mean, look, it sucks for people that wanted to get some of those items that they didn't get before. But this is one of those things that when those items were up, you got to have that muscle memory. You got to remember what happened before and what's going to happen again and again. Retail items, it's a flip of the coin. Most of it's now showing up in Ollie's and Ross. But we're not going to have, cases and cases of Unicrons and Victory Sabers showing up at Ollie's. Just doesn't happen. So there's only one direction that could really go. And it's either going to be flat of its value or it's going to go up. It's a limited item, and people are not going to want to lose money on their limited item unless they lose it through eBay fees and stuff like that. But that's a whole different discussion when it comes to how they manage their finance. But that's what happened. So let me know what you think. If you're one of the lucky few that managed to snag one, congratulations. But don't think that the opportunity will come again. This wasn't a reissue. This was just a couple of spare units that were available, and the right people were at the right place at the right time to add to cart to punch in that credit card and to get it in their mailbox. Let me know what you think, guys, and thank you again for listening to the Transformer Slag podcast, and I'll talk to you in the near future.